Gab and Elizabeth here. Today I have a very exciting guest, Lindsey from Snake Oil. Snake Oil is an awesome cocktail company. I've worked with them so many times, and I thought it would be really fun to do a video on wedding drinks, like signature cocktails. So Lindsey, tell us a little bit about Snake Oil.
Sure. So we first got started at Bryant Malarkey's restaurant, Seersucker in Del Mar. Started consulting with them, developing craft cocktails, and really setting the stage for cocktails in San Diego. We took that to event beverage catering, seeing the niche market there, doing about 800 events a year now.
Wow.
Yes. So we specialize in those craft cocktails, juicing, muddling, mixing everything ahead of time in our kitchen, and then going to an event, setting up the full bar, and making those cocktails for our guests.
Nice. And so I know you guys are a little bit more culinary focused rather than kind of saying what drink can we make with vodka. You guys are more like what drink can we make with bell peppers. So tell me a little bit about why that is and what you kind of feel it does for your drinks.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many wonderful farms here in San Diego. So we really try and use those seasonal ingredients to make those cocktails. So we start with something very interesting. Maybe it's watermelon that's really fresh, really juicy in season. Mix it with maybe a little arugula, something that's a little bit off the beaten path. We really want our cocktails to make the guests think, ponder that cocktail, and really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. We use Snake Oil for our rehearsal dinner, and I kept telling my guests all about this one drink. I think is it called the Summer Punch?
Yes.
Okay, and it is made out of like watermelon and basil and bell pepper, and people were like, bell pepper in a cocktail? And I was like, it's so amazing. Just wait till we try it. And that was the guest favorite of the night. Like people wouldn't stop talking about it. It was so good. You guys always have the most flavorful drinks. And I feel like that's so important in a cocktail. Every time I drink one of your drinks, it's like one flavor and then another flavor and sometimes like a third flavor in the same sip. Tell me how you guys achieve that. And is it in part because of your culinary focus?
It's absolutely because of the culinary focus. So like I said, we start with one ingredient and then really build on top of that. So there are different layers. There's so many farms in San Diego that we really want to capture the height of the freshness of the fruit or the vegetable and bottle that up. So we're capturing that peak freshness.
Nice. Yeah, I'd say that that really helps because sometimes you go out and you order cocktails and it's just kind of flavorless, or all you taste is the liquor, or you just get one flavor. But I feel like if you have drinks at your wedding or your rehearsal dinner that are just like a flavor explosion, that's all people are going to be talking about. And it's different. It's like a fun experience. And, you know, your drinks sometimes have ingredients in them that I would never think to try. But if it's there at the wedding, I'm going to try it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that we make spirits a little bit more approachable too. So some people, you know, you hear about bourbon, you hear about rye whiskey and things like that. But your grandma or your mother might not want to order a bourbon cocktail. So you pair it with some really fresh ingredients, a really approachable cocktail that everyone can enjoy.
Yeah, I'll say I never drink whiskey or bourbon, but if Snake Oil makes that, I will try it and I like it. Like that's sort of a liquor that normally just disgusts me when it's mixed really well. And with the right ingredients, I feel like it's really approachable. And it's something that, you know, I would actually order a second one of, as opposed to like just giving it to my husband and being like, you finish this.
Exactly.
So a lot of you out there might be wondering what exactly you should be looking for if you are hiring a beverage service for your wedding. So Lindsey, tell me, what are some of the things that couples, in case they're nowhere near Snake Oil and they can't hire you guys, what should they be looking out for?
Sure. I think the most important thing is that you're working with a reputable professional company that understands the rules of alcohol and how to serve it and how to serve it safely. That's number one. Absolutely. And then do something that's fun. So you, in addition to the professionalism and having someone be able to pour cocktails and be sure that your guests are safe, have some fun with it, enjoy a couple signature cocktails, lean on those beverage caterers, lean on your vendors to really help guide you.
So when it comes to these cocktails and trying to pick the drinks that you're going to have at your wedding, do you recommend that couples come in for a drink tasting?
It's really fun. It's definitely a fun part of the wedding planning process. We get about 15% of our clients come in for a tasting, so not a ton, but it is really fun.
Oh my God. We did ours here for our rehearsal dinner, and it was so much fun. We got to try, I think it was like 6 different cocktails, and David and I were able to pick 3 of them, and it was just really fun. A little bit dangerous because it was like lunchtime and we had a lot of drinks, but it was so fun. I feel like it's something I would think almost everybody would do.
Yeah, it's a really good chance to kind of connect with the client, to express your vision of the wedding, how the program is going to run, and taste some cocktails and see what you like, see what you don't like, and have some fun doing it.
Yeah, so with signature cocktails, tell me like what exactly that is to anybody who's not familiar, and why it might be good to have signature cocktails instead of just a bar where everything's a free-for-all.
Yes. So having a couple signature cocktails, 2 to 3 signature cocktails on the menu, when guests approach the bar, it's a really easy chance for them just to pick 1 or 2 right off the bat, get that line moving. But it's a really fun way to showcase what's a good representation of you and your spouse or soon-to-be spouse.
Yeah, I agree. I think anytime I go to an event and I go up to a bar and there's no menu with signature drinks, I just kind of panic because I forget everything I've learned in the past. Or I'm like, what if they don't know how to make this? Like, what are some examples of couples kind of showcasing who they are, or anything that's been unique for you guys?
Sure. So we did have a Scottish couple in once, and they really wanted to showcase a gin cocktail.
Okay.
Not a lot of people like gin, but we brought them in and we made gin a little bit more approachable for those guests.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun.
Very
going
cool.
into that Scottish heritage.
Yeah, super exciting. So you say you recommend 2 to 3. That's kind of your max would be 3.
I think so. Once you get over 3, people just start to look at the menu. It's not a restaurant. It's going to be 2 to 3 choices.
Okay.
Pretty easy. We like to feature some of those most popular spirits in those cocktails.
Okay.
So looking at your vodka, bourbon, and tequila, those are going to be your 3 most popular spirits. Of course, if someone really likes gin or rum and you want to go with a tiki theme, then I'd switch that out. But vodka is going to be the #1 spirit.
So when it comes to the variety of your signature drinks, obviously you wouldn't want them all to be the same. So what do you suggest in terms of variety? Is it a couple different types of liquor, different flavors? Should they complement the food, or does it not matter at all?
It doesn't matter so much with the food.
Okay.
Like I said, I think choosing a couple of the spirits that you really like and you know your guests will enjoy, say it's vodka, bourbon, we can base our cocktails around those spirits. So a lot of times we start with a cocktail mix that's just really delicious and fresh, and then we can mix it with a spirit of your choosing. So a lot of our cocktails are pretty versatile, where you can either put vodka in it or bourbon, even soda water, and making it a mocktail.
Very cool. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, because I know that at our wedding we had some guests, like my bridesmaid was pregnant, then we had a few guests who didn't drink alcohol but wanted to kind of be able to enjoy the taste of the cocktails. And so it was really nice to be able to kind of supplement that with a non-alcoholic drink for them.
Absolutely.
A lot of brides and grooms out there might be wondering, okay, this sounds great, but like, how much does it cost? So what would you say, at least for snake oil? I know you can't speak to like everywhere in the world, but for snake oil, maybe 100-person wedding, they have 2 signature cocktails, beer and wine. What would kind of the average cost per person look like?
Sure, and I'm going to give you a range just because there are so many different variables that come into those costs.
Gotcha.
It could be if you want tray pass cocktails, if you want glassware. There's so many other things that kind of lead into what those costs actually break down into. But I would say about $20 to $25 per person, all inclusive. So you would get your spirits, you would get unlimited cocktails, unlimited beer, wine for 5 hours.
Nice. I feel like that's a really good deal.
It is. I mean, think about it. It's probably 2 cocktails at a bar per person.
Yeah, it really is. I think that's great. And, you know, I think too, it's nice, especially if you can do an open bar for your guests. I feel like that's a great price to allow them to kind of enjoy beverages all night. And nobody has to worry about, you know, kind of going over, or, you know, having the guests have to pay for things, which I think is a great service for them.
Yes, and we always bring extra alcohol too. So when we bring the alcohol to the event, we're making sure that we've got cases of vodka, bourbon, wine in the back, so we'll never run out of alcohol.
Perfect. Yeah, that's good. You never want to run out before the night is over. So I know a lot of people out there might be budget conscious, and maybe one of the things that they want to do in order to save money is skimp on the number of bartenders you have. Tell me what your recommended number of bartenders is to guests, and what happens if a couple chooses to have fewer than your recommended number.
Sure. So if you have fewer than recommended, you'll have a line right after that reception. Is during cocktail hour, you have a line that's 10 to 12 people deep, if not longer than that, which nobody wants to wait around for a cocktail. So one way that you can alleviate that is bringing in tray pass cocktails. And so that just depends, again, on how many bartenders you have per guest count, and if you want those tray pass cocktails, glassware is another option. But I would say 1 bartender per about 70 guests. Yes.
Perfect.
Also depends on how many bars you have, what that service requirement looks like.
Yeah. I think, you know, a lot of times I've been to weddings in the past where there were not enough bartenders and the line is really long, and guests sometimes can't even get a cocktail because maybe they start the grand entrance, the planner or venue says everybody go to your seats, like leave the bar, and then people don't get their drinks, and it can be really kind of stressful for them. So I think that's probably not a good place to skimp. I would say maybe go with the minimum recommended number of bartenders. buyers.
Yes.
So if a couple maybe did want to hire a service like snake oil, but they wanted to be more budget conscious, what are some things that would be a little bit more wise for them to do in order to save just a little bit?
Sure. I would say go with a disposable glassware. That's going to be your biggest saving.
Gotcha.
Not only in cost, but also in labor as well.
Okay.
So you don't have people going around and picking up the glassware, restocking the glassware. It's just a little bit quicker because guests can easily toss their cup in the trash can.
Yeah, I feel like that's such an easy idea, and you still get the great drinks. You might not get like as pretty of glassware, but I think that's a good compromise.
Yep.
Let's say that you're getting married at a venue that does not allow an outside bar service like snake oil to come in and do your drinks, and maybe your venue's bar isn't that creative. What could they do? Could they come to someone like you for guidance and have you create drinks that you could then give the recipes to their venue?
Absolutely. We've done a couple of different things. So we do work with a lot of hotels and a lot of times and restaurants. A lot of times there are those reasons and those barriers or boundaries because they have a liquor license in place already.
Gotcha.
So you can't have another bartending company come in alongside that. But what we can do is we can work usually with the hotel or with the restaurant and be an auxiliary bar where we are doing cocktail graffiti or something really special. So we have worked together with different bartenders. Another thing that we can do is consult. And that's when we do provide the recipe, come up with some very interesting cocktails for the bride and groom. Maybe they're out of state and we'll send them the recipe.
Okay, so that's really great to know. So don't feel hopeless if you want really cool signature cocktails, but your venue doesn't really have them or they really don't have the knowledge to create them. You can go to somewhere like Snake Oil and either have your venue work with them kind of closely, or you can just have them consult, make recipes for you, and you can hand them over to your venue. So there is hope, just in case. So tell me a little bit about anything else that you think couples should know when it comes to wedding cocktails, signature drinks, anything like that.
So I think it's really important to share your preferences and share your ideas about your wedding with your event beverage caterer. And so that could be anything from spirits to flavors, but how the day is going to run. That's going to really help us understand what you're looking for in terms of the beverage caterer, which is really important. And I think the craft cocktails is a really great example of showcasing a little bit of personality. I think those small details are so important in a wedding. The bar is usually the first place that people go when they get to a wedding. And so starting off on a really good foot with a really delicious cocktail is a great way to spend your day.
Yeah, I think that's so fun. I know for me, I really love cocktails. And so if I go to an event that doesn't really have good cocktails, I'm happy to be there, but I'm also like, dang, you know, I was really looking forward to like sipping something tasty. So I think it's just a fun thing to have. And again, you can make it more cost effective, or you can go crazy and go top shelf for everything. It's really up to you guys. So tell everybody if they're interested in looking at really cool photos of your drinks or just to find out more information, where can everybody find you?
Our website, snakeoilcocktail.com, and then our Instagram handle, snakeoilcocktail.
Perfect. So we also have a special treat for you guys. We are going to be showcasing right after this how to make a Mai Tai, so you guys can see a little bit about how snake oil works, what their pretty drinks look like. Anyways, I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Hello, my name is Irving Gonzalez, a mixologist at Snake Oil Cocktail Company. This is how you make a Mai Tai. Mai Tai is a really strong cocktail, really refreshing too. First of all, you're going to put 1.5 ounce of Havana Club, White Rum. Doesn't need to be Havana, just any white rum, it's good. So main ingredient here, lime juice. I'm gonna do 1/2 ounce of lime juice. There you go. Also, another good part of a good Mai Tai is a good Orgeat. So Orgeat is an almond syrup. So you need to have like orange blossom water in here. You have sugar, you have almond, vanilla. It's always a good tip. So you're gonna put 1 ounce for that. This is just me. I like a little bit of the orange flavor in it. So let's just add a little bit of 1 dash of Angostura bitters, just to kind of like give it a little kick. All right. Now that all the ingredients are here, you're gonna shake it, but first, take a good look for the color. You're looking to aim that color, just a little bit clear. Look at that. It's awesome. All right, now let's shake it. Another good thing on a Mai Tai, well, kind of like a short cocktail because it's really strong. But also the really important thing is the ice. So don't focus on big blocks of ice, just focus on pebble ice. You can crush your own ice at home. Just like serve it. Again, this is the color we're looking for. See? Top it off with a little bit of crushed ice. Right. Second ingredient is like spice or añejo rum. So you're gonna do 1/2 ounce of that just to top it off to create a lei. Pretty cool. Garnish with some mint, just to release the oils, give it a little hit. Have some dehydrated limes in here. And go crazy and just aim for an orchid. So this is how you make a Mai Tai.